Well, good Tuesday morning to everybody. Hope you are doing well. We're at the second game on the June 21st, 1987 schedule. This game finds us at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore for the game between the Detroit Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles. Detroit comes to this game 37-27. They're a half game ahead of the Yankees for third place, so they need to win in order to stay in front of the Yankees. Orioles mired at the bottom at 25-43. Pitching matchup for today's game, two right-handers, Dan Petry for the Tigers and Ken Dixon for the Orioles. We'll look at Petry in the bottom half of the first right now. Look at the top of the first. And I got to bring up, I just realized I didn't have the Strat computer pulled up. How bad of me not to have that prepared. So let me bring that up real quick so we can get the full numbers. Good morning, Brown Wolves. Good to see you. Let me get the computer up here so I can get going here. I'm like having the computer, inputting these games as I play them on the computer to keep me straight is kind of like if I don't have it, like I did on the game of the week on Saturday, I'm kind of like Linus without my blanket. So I kind of have to have this so that I can keep myself straight for one thing, and also I can give you the updated stats on the replay as the players are performing. So Ken Dixon in the real season was 7-10 with a 6.43 ERA, obviously not very good. Replay is doing a little bit better. He's 2-3 with an ERA of 4.83, 54 innings pitched, 56 hits, 17 walks, and 41 strikeouts. So he's doing obviously much better in the replay than he did in real world. Neither pitcher is very good at holding runners. They're both going to be a +4 based on their hold rating and the catcher. In this case, the backup catcher for the Orioles, Dave Van Gorder, is getting the start on a Sunday day game after a Saturday night game. So Kennedy's getting the rest. But Van Gorder's a +4 arm. Even though Dixon's a 0, it's going to make it a +4. Petry is a +3 arm, and then Noakes is a +1 to make him a +4 as well. So if either team wants to do any running, this may be the game to do it in because of the fact of those not holding the runners very well. This is game number 463 in the replay. We're at Memorial Stadium, a symmetrical ballpark. Not very good for singles. A lot of foul territory in Memorial Stadium, so foul balls will get caught, which minimizes the singles down to a 3. Pretty fair for home runs, though, 1-11. This is both left and right. Since it's symmetrical, there's no advantage one way or the other. And Lou Whitaker will lead things off for the Tigers. Both teams pretty standard lineups. Nothing really out of the ordinary except for the fact that Van Gorder is starting in place of Kennedy. But again, that's a Sunday day game after a Saturday night game, so that'd be expected. Whitaker on the replay is hitting .288, 14 homers, 49 driven in. On the real season, he hit .265. And I forgot to do this yesterday. Shame on me. But I forgot to have the ceremonial first sip. How I managed to do that, I have no idea. Somehow I did, but we don't want to have that happen today. And also started going back to what I used to do. Not sure why I stopped doing it, but I need to get back to doing it now. And that is bringing out the score sheet from the previous game. So not only can I see what happened in the previous game, but I can check the bullpen because I don't want to overwork anybody. So in the Orioles case, Scott McGregor pitched 3 innings yesterday. So obviously he's unavailable in this game today. So Scott McGregor will not be seen in this game today. Willie Hernandez pitched 2 innings yesterday. So if they need a save situation, probably Mike Henneman will be the go-to guy. Hernandez will only come in if they run out of pitchers or something. So yeah, I really need to get back to that so I can make sure I don't overuse anybody in back-to-back days. All right, all that stuff out of the way. I think we are ready to go. Hey there, Yoko. Good to see you. So Lou Whitaker will lead it off against Ken Dixon. With these two pitchers going, I'm expecting a high-scoring game, but you never know how the dice are going to play out. I do have the Baltimore Oriole colored dice. See if that gives the Orioles any karma. Let's see here, 4-6. 4-6 for Whitaker against a left-hander is a 1-12 double. That's going to be a leadoff double for Lou Whitaker right out the gate. Lou Whitaker, leadoff double. against Ken Dixon. Make sure that the dice tray is not getting cut off. I don't think it is. Check on my laptop here and see how it's looking. Looks like maybe now that I've moved it, looks like it might be all right. Yeah, Yoko, Strat Computer does that too, but they use different symbols that I'm not totally keen on, so I prefer to keep track of it. I mean, it shows the starting pitchers that are coming up, and it will put a T next to their name if the relievers are tired. But, you know, I still rather have the actual information in front of me. All right, here's Darrell Evans. They bumped him up to the number 2 position. He's playing first base. It had been Madlock for a long time playing first base, but this time Evans is at first base. Evans on the replay is hitting .294, 17 homers, 46 driven in. He hit .257 real world, so he's definitely overperforming a bit. First havoc roll, nothing happening. Brown, the Strat Computer could have used to update 20 years ago. Here's Evans, 3-7, and that's going to be a strikeout for Evans. Even in its archaic form, in this replay, it does what I want it to do, which is just keep stats. I can't remember the last time I sat down in front of the Strat Computer and actually played a game on it using the computer. It just doesn't interest me, but it does keep my stats for me, keep the standings, keep the stats, keep the give me the everyday lineups and the rosters and stuff, and that's what I use it for. All right, here's Kirk Gibson. Gibson hitting .337, homers 37 driven in. He hit .277 real world. .47, and that's the same, almost the same at .46 the first time. This is .47. 1-3 is a triple. That's an 8, so it's a fly ball to right field. And that'll be out number 2 as Lee Lacy tracks it down. So 2 down, and here comes the league's leading hitter, Alan Trammell. He is hitting .413 on the replay, 15 homers, 54 driven in. He at .343 real world. It is a clutch situation, and he actually loses several hits in the clutch, 1-8, 1-9, and 2-6. So Dixon trying to pitch around the leadoff double. 3-7, and he does. It's a fly ball to center field, hauled in out there by Gerhardt, and the leadoff double from Lou Whitaker goes for naught. Go to the bottom of the first. Tigers nothing. Orioles coming to bat, and we'll check out Tiger starter Dan Petry. Petry on the real season was 9-7 with a .561 earned run average. On the replay, he is 5-2. With an ERA of 4.52, 68 innings pitched, 56 hits, 35 walks, 41 strikeouts. So he's done better on the replay than he did in real world as well. And leading off for the Orioles will be center fielder Ken Gerhardt. Gerhardt on the replay is hitting .229, 8 homers, 20 driven in. He at .243 real world. And the Orioles just can't, the whole 87 season, they just can't seem to settle on a leadoff hitter. They tried Alan Wiggins to start the season. He just wasn't hitting. So now I guess the thought process of Cal Ripken Sr. is maybe if Gerhardt gets on, they can at least use Wiggins to bunt him over. I guess that's why he's hitting second. I have no idea why it would be. All right, here is Ken Gerhardt, 3-8. 1-2 is a triple. Fly to center, though, because it's a 14. So 1 away, and that's going to bring up Alan Wiggins. I appreciate the kind comments, Brown. I appreciate that. I don't know that I agree with it, but I appreciate the kind comments. I will say one thing I have going for me is that when I started on YouTube, there were about 3 or 4 guys that I saw were doing this before I tried it, and most, if not all, of those guys are no longer on YouTube. So I guess maybe for longevity purposes, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, maybe a little more than 10 years. So I mean, a lot of new guys have come on the last 3 or 4 years, but I'm talking about guys that were doing it back in 2016. Um, very few, if any, are still active in the community. All right, here's Alan Wiggins. He's hitting 182, a homer and 9 driven in at 232 real world. But they were very influential on me, which was, helped me out immensely. 6'2", Wiggins, switch hitter. That's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but of course, first inning, he's not going to be tired. And as far as playing Strat-O-Matic, I think myself and Spokane Steve are the only two people that play Strat-O-Matic on any kind of consistent basis on YouTube. And as I've said many times, Spokane Steve, his setup and his score sheet are immaculate. It almost looks like it's typed. His handwriting is so good. I'm so jealous of that. But his score sheets, I just watch his videos just for the score sheet because they're so fascinating. I have no interest in the 66 season he's doing, but I enjoy watching the score sheet. But that's another sidebar there. All right, here's Cal Ripken, 249 average on the replay, 8 homers, 29 driven in at 252 real world. 6'9" for a right-hander is another strikeout for Petry, and that will end the inning. So very easy 1-2-3 inning for Dan Petry. And we go to the top of the second, no score. Good morning, Dan. So we go to the top of the second. I know it's early. It's only Tuesday, but of course Saturday will be the NBC game of the week on Fall Classic, and hopefully I won't make the same mistake I made last Saturday because I didn't have the computer up. But I'm definitely going to score the game as I play it this time, so I don't have that snafu I had in the Oriole-Milwaukee game. It will be Yankees in Texas from Yankee Stadium. Ferguson Jenkins against Catfish Hunter, 1979 Fall Classic NBC game of the week. And I am having Action PC sim all the other games. But I am manually inputting the games I play on the game of the week. So those games will count towards the overall records. All right, here is Matt Noakes. Matt Noakes against Ken Dixon. Noakes hitting .314, 18 homers, 55 driven in, and he hit .289 real world. 5-6, and that is a strikeout for Ken Dixon, his second. So as soon as I say it's going to be a 10-8 high-scoring game because of the pitching matchup, we got no score so far, but we're very early on. I've seen that before. I've seen that channel before, Dan. I think, didn't he do it for the 85 set or something? That's the one I thought I saw. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You'll just on your, at least I can only speak from my experience on my feed that comes to me. There's different little, all of a sudden I'll say, oh, I never saw this, heard this channel before. Let me check them out. So always nice to see new things. The one guy that seems to be the most popular guy on YouTube in this genre, and I don't think it's even close based on his number of subscribers and his number of views, and that's Baseball Journal. It seems like whenever he puts something out there, he gets like 5,000 views or something. So I'm not sure. I mean, I watched some of his stuff and it's okay, but I'm not sure because he doesn't really play any games. He's just talking about different things in the hobby. So usually he'll pick something obscure like, why NES baseball is no longer popular or something like that. But I've just noticed, like, man, he must be doing something right because he sure does have a big following. All right. But that's okay. If people can, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can watch what you want. And if you like his stuff and I like his stuff, then hey, go for it. And good for him. Kudos to him. All right, here's Sheridan. 4-9. And that's a strikeout there. Strikeout number 3. Something I had to learn when I first started out, and this was years and years ago, is that I had to wrap my head around the fact that A, not to try to compare myself to other YouTube creators, and B, not to be in competition with them. It's not a zero-sum game. If all content creators do well, the whole hobby does well. So it's not like if somebody watches somebody else, they won't watch me or vice versa. So not in competition with anybody. In fact, I enjoy the other channels because I can glean things off of them and learn things off of them and get ideas off of them. So to me, the old saying about a rising tide lifts all boats in this hobby, I kind of fall in that category. But I'm talking about 7, 8 years ago. I used to be like, man, can't stand that guy has more subs than I do. But it was a really bad attitude way back then. But now I've got to the point where it's like, I enjoy it. I enjoy having more content creators, the better. And I support all of them. And I hope you guys do too. All right, here's Johnny Grubb. Johnny Grubb on the replay. He doesn't get much playing time. He's had 72 at bats. He's hitting 208, no homers, 10 driven in. He hit 202 real world, so he's not too far from his real life stuff. 2-3, and that is going to be a base on balls. So 2-out walk. First walk issued by Dixon. Grubb certainly a slow runner. He's didn't even have an attempted steal in the 87 season. Here's Chet Lemon. Lemon hitting 230, 5 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 277 real world. 1-6, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So he ends up striking out the side. And that's going to do it for the Tigers. A walk, but nothing else. We go to the bottom of the second. Still no score from Memorial Stadium. And another thing I've noticed about some of the newer, when I say newer, I'm saying the last 2 years or so, is it's the thing that seems to have gotten legs or gotten to be popular that I've never really, I tried it, but I never really got into it, full blown, are these discussions and chats and interviews and all this other stuff that my wheelhouse is playing the game. So that's what I prefer, but a lot of the people are very good at that stuff. So I guess that's why they do it, because they're very good at it. All right, here's Eddie Murray, 308 on the replay, 16 homers, 39 driven in. He had 277 real world. 6-8 and switch hitter batting left, and that's a base on balls. So Murray's going to walk. He's no threat to run. That brings up Larry Sheets. Sheets hitting 303 on the replay, 10 homers, 22 driven in. He at 316 real world. Petry, nothing on the Havoc. Whoop, the white die got hung up there. Five, 6, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. They were not holding Murray on, so that means that Trammell will keep his 1E21, so this could be a double play, possibly. Dan, I haven't heard any. I've seen some stuff on Facebook from Bleach Bums Gamey, but I haven't seen him as far as doing videos. No, I have not. I'm not sure. I know he was coaching football at one time, but I think he retired from that. I don't know if he's retired. To be honest with you, I really don't know. I haven't seen him on there. Like I said, other than posting some stuff on Facebook once in a while, I haven't really seen anything from him. But yeah, another obviously great channel and game creator on top of it, which is even more unique. All right, so Trammell, 1E21. 1-16, that's a G1, so that's a possible double play. That's a 10. That's a good sign to have a 10. You don't get many errors on 10s. E21, there is no 10, so that's going to be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. Double play. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're out in that area, go check them out. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but they are the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play of the game, and you can't get more tailor-made than 6-4-3. So 2 up and 2 down. Oh, yeah, he's definitely I get his feed maybe once every couple of days where he's posting something with his missus, and they're out having lunch or doing whatever. So here is Ray Knight. Knight hitting 239, 9 homers, 29 driven in, 256 on the real season. 2-3, That's a hit by pitch, so Ray Knight gets plunked. Ray Knight is plunked, but he's no threat to run. He's one of the slowest men in baseball in 1987, so he's not going anywhere. Brown, to answer your question, I just picked that name out of the blue. I did not realize it was a real place. Somebody I actually Googled it and found it, but I was just using Giovanni just as a made-up name, not realizing that there was a real tailor shop. So now it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing where I incorporated in my broadcast that I simulate that they are the sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Has never heard of me. I've never been there, so I don't know. It's just something I do for fun. All right, here's Lee Lacy, 273 average, 4 homers, 13 driven in. He hit 244 real world. One 6 for Lacy, and he's going to draw a base on ball. So all of a sudden, Petry losing the strike zone. He's walked 2 and hit a batter this inning, so definitely all over the place. They might have to have Noakes go out and talk to him. Here comes Mike Young, the designated hitter. He is hitting 231 on the replay, 7 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 240 real world. Good morning, Jeremiah. 3-3, and that's a home run on a 1-19, and that's an 18, so that fits just fine, but barely, but it fits. And so the hit by pitch and the walk have come back to bite Petry as Mike Young, home run on a 1-19. I'll even give the old close-up. I don't know how well it's showing up on my thing here, but Mike Young, look at that roll again, 3-3 against right-handers. You can see the home run is a 1-19. There it is. Mike Young had 16 home runs in the real season. He gets a 3-run homer here. This is the old Earl Weaver special, even though Weaver's not the manager anymore. This is textbook Earl Weaver strategy and everything that Earl Weaver stands for. Pitching, defense, and the 3-run homer. Those were his 3 stalwarts that he followed. So for Mike Young, home run, number 8 on the replay. Like I said, he had 16 real world. RBIs, 21, 22, and 23. And the Orioles lead it 3-0. And now Dave Van Gorder getting a rare start. Van Gorder has had 11 at-bats on the replays. He's actually hitting 273 on the replay in 11 at-bats. He had 21 at-bats total real season, hitting 238. So we'll see what he does here against Petry. 6-8, and that's a walk, another walk by Petry, his 3rd walk of the inning. So the home run must have shook him up to walk the number 9 man, Van Gorder. Not a good thing, obviously. Here's Ken Gerhardt. Sparky doesn't want to go to a bullpen this early. 5-6. That's a ground ball, shortstop X. Again, Van Gorder. Well, the right-hander still wouldn't be holding him anyway. So it's a 1-E-21. You know he's going to get to it with a 1. That's a G1, and that's a 9, so that's a good play. Could say fielder's choice. I wouldn't just say he throws it 6-3 since it's the 3rd. It would have been a double play had there been less than 2 outs. But they already had one Giovanni's double play turned in. Giovanni's Tailor Shop double play right before the home run. So, but the hit by pitch and the walk cost them the 3 runs. Go to the 3rd. It is Baltimore 3, Detroit nothing. And Detroit needs to win to stay ahead of the Yankees and for 3rd place. If they lose, they'll fall back into a tie for 3rd with the Yankees at 7.5 games back of Milwaukee. So it would behoove them to win, especially against the lowly Orioles. Here's Tom Brookins. Brookins hitting 241 on the replay, 4 homers, 20 driven in. And, oh, by the way, he hit 241 real world. So he's right on track statistically. 4-6, and that's a 1-5 double. It's a 13, so he'll settle with a leadoff single for Tom Brookins. Back come the Tigers. Brookins has a chance to get a good lead, and with that +4, That would make him a 1-17 if he got the lead, so definitely worth trying for it. Needs a 6 or 7, doesn't get it, he'll hold. And here's Lou Whitaker. 6-3, and that's a ballpark single check, but it's only 1-3. So that would be a line out to second base. Out number 1. Brookins holds at first. And here comes Darrell Evans. Evans, that's a 1. So wild pitch chance for Dixon is wild pitch. Oh, I didn't put his wild. How did I not put his wild pitch rating down there? Usually I do that before the game. For some reason, I didn't do that with him. He is a 10 wild pitch and a 4 balk. So 1-10, he just uncorks a wild pitch. And he does, round the numbers, so Van Gorder couldn't stop it. It's a pass ball. I'm sorry, it's a wild pitch. What am I doing? It's a wild pitch, not a pass ball. It's a wild pitch on Mr. Ken Dixon as Van Gorder couldn't block it. It is a wild pitch. Takes a double play out of the equation as well. And now Evans steps up. Trying it again. Another 1, but I'm not going to have back-to-back wild pitch. Well, you know what? Well, no. That's kind of been my thing. I don't want back-to-back wild pitches. So we're going to go ahead and just play it out. 112, it's a ground ball second base B. That'll get the runner to third base. Two outs, a runner at third for Kirk Gibson. A clutch situation for Gibson. Gibson will lose a hit on 212. 212 is what Gibson is looking for. Or looking to avoid, I should say. 5-8, and he wanted to avoid that too. That's a strikeout for Ken Dixon, his 5th of the game. And boy, Ken Dixon has been impressive through 3 innings for being such a mediocre pitcher in real world. He takes care of Gibson and the Tigers. Go to the bottom of the third. Still 3-0 Orioles. Of course, the Orioles have a way of blowing leads. They've done that many, many times. That's why they're 25-43. Here comes Alan Wiggins. Wiggins struck out his first chance. 1-9. And this time he'll draw a base on balls. Yet another walk by Petry. That is his 4th. And Wiggins definitely looking to run. Needs a 4, 5, or 6, or a 12. 4, 5, 6, or 12 to get the lead. 6, he gets the lead. He's going to go. He's an 18, being held as a 16, but the +4 from Petry makes it a 20. So the only way he is out is on a 20. And it's a 2. Possible throwing error on Noakes, 1-7. And Noakes does not throw it away. Trammell's able to get it. Actually, Whitaker is able to get it because he's covering with Ripken, the righty, at the plate. So Wiggins steals second base. He's in scoring position with nobody out for Ripken and Murray. Check on Wiggins' stolen base totals for both the season and the replay. On the season, he stole 20 bases, got caught 7 times. In the replay, this is stolen base 13. He's been caught only twice. Stolen base number lucky 13 for Alan Wiggins. All right, here's Cal Ripken. He struck out his first time as well. 5-10. That's a ballpark blast. 1-11. That's gone. Cal Ripken into the bullpen area, I guess, of Tigers in left field, where he blasted that one over the Memorial Stadium left field wall. Ballpark blast on the 5-10, 1-11, and that's a 2. So Cal Ripken, a 2-run home run. So we got a 3-run homer and now a 2-run homer. Boy, Earl Weaver would have been proud. For Ripken, that is home run number 9 on the replay. He had 27 of them real world. Only his 9th right now. And RBIs 30 and 31. But it's 5-0 Baltimore now. Dan Petry not only having control issues, but also is wild within the strike zone, not hitting the corners. He's putting it right down the middle. And Ripken didn't miss it. Here's Murray. 5-3. It's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Sheridan. He's a 2E9 for Sheridan. So he should get to this. 2 and a 4 is iffy, but I think you'll still get to it. So check it out. 2 and a 4 is an F1, so it's the last out number there. 3 or less, it would have been a hit, but it's an F1. Or if he had been a 3 rated outfielder, it would have been a hit. He had to be a 1 or 2 rated outfielder to catch this, and he was. That's a 10, so there usually aren't too many errors on 10s. E9, no, definitely no 10 there. So Sheridan makes the play. And Eddie Murray is out of there. 1 away for Larry Sheets. Sheets, his first time up, hit into that Giovanni's tailor-made double play. 2-10, and this is going to be a ground ball Petry. It would have been another double play, but nobody was on base. Just a tapper right back to Petry. 2 down. And every time Petry gets ready to throw the ball to the catcher, Matt Noakes, I keep wanting to say Petry throwing to the dish, but that's just a bad pun I don't want to go to. So here is, if you're a science type guy, here is Ray Knight, hit by the pitch his first time. 6-8. That's a base on another walk for Petry. 5 walks for Petry now, plus a hit by pitch. Ray Knight has been hit by a pitch, and now he's walked. Here's Lee Lacy. Dan, I don't remember anybody from Colorado. I remember a few of the old-timer YouTubers, but I don't remember anybody from Colorado. Can't say that I do. 6-9. Petry struck him out. That is a strikeout number 3 to end the inning. But the 2-run homer makes it 5-0. I mean, there's, obviously both Earls are, were back in the day. And, of course, Strat-O-Matic Delaware, who's changed his name many, many times, is another Strat-O-Matic guy. Guy that used to be on YouTube quite often was Espo Strat. I enjoyed watching him back in the day. I'm trying to think of anybody else that did Strat-O-Matic that I can think of. That's not, Jeffrey Guterman. Obviously, I miss him not being able to do his channel. I'm trying to go way back in like 6-7 years ago. My memory's not the best, so I'm sure there's guys out there that I'm forgetting that I don't remember off the top of my head. And I'm just strictly speaking Strat-O-Matic. I don't know, there might have been other guys that play other games, but those are the ones I can remember the most. Let's see here. Dan Petry giving up the 2-run home run. He's in rough shape. 5-0 Orioles. Tigers have the work cut out for him against Ken Dixon. And obviously another guy that's been around for a long time, but I haven't seen in quite some time. I hope he's doing well, is Al Red Sox fan. He used to stream quite a bit. He might stream once in a while nowadays, but I mean, he used to stream like a couple times a week at least, I thought. So I hope he's doing all right. Maybe just hadn't felt like streaming. So. And you can get that. I mean, you can get in little funks like that. I had a time where I didn't feel like doing anything. All right, here is Alan Trammell. He's going to try to get things started for the Tigers. 3-7. Fly ball to center field. Gerhardt is there, so that's not a good way to get it started. Tigers just seem out of sorts in this game. Here's Matt Noakes and Ken Dixon. They got the leadoff double from Whitaker, and they have, other than a single from Brookins, they have done nothing since. 1-7, and that's a fly ball to center field, out number 2. And they're making Ken Dixon look like Bob Gibson out there or something with the way he's pitching. Here's Sheridan. 1-7 for Sheridan. Another strikeout. That's strikeout number 6 for Ken Dixon. And he has shut down the Orioles. Shut down the Tigers through 4 innings. It's 5-0. If somebody told me it was going to be 5-0 in the bottom of the fourth, I would figure it'd be the Tigers ahead 5-0. But that's why he rolled the dice. Dan Petry is very close to being fatigued. If he gets that 6th run, he's going to probably have to come out. Although Sparky really doesn't want to go to his bullpen because he used Willie Hernandez for 2 innings yesterday. So if they have to go to somebody now, those are the 2 guys he'd be going to, Eric King or Mark Thurman. They both have long relief ratings. And would probably be Eric King because he can pitch the longest. He's kind of the mop-up guy. Although he was a closer for him at some point, but he's got the most length that they could go to. Here's Mike Young. He homered first time up. 312. Might do it again on the ballpark blast. It's 1-11, but that's a 12. He just missed it. Just got up under it, and Sheridan at the warning track will make the catch. 1 away, so Petry caught a break there. Here's Van Gorder. 4-8. That's a base hit. 1-6. 17 will be a single, though. So he's making, even Petry's making Van Gorder look like a good hitter. And if you get him up a weak number 9 hitter to get on base twice in a row, that's not a good sign. That's the only the 3rd hit for the Orioles in this game to go with their 5 runs. But when you end up walking 5 and hitting a batter, that adds up to the runs. Here's Gerhardt. 1-6 for Gerhardt. It's a ground ball third base A. That's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. That is not a tailor-made double play. It's an around the horn double play. So maybe there's some kind of sponsorship to be had with Dodge or something with Ram, where it's around the Ram horn or around the horn somehow. I don't know. Something with a horn. But it's 5-4-3 double play. And that will keep Petry in the game a little bit longer. We go to the 5th. It's still 5-0 favor of the Orioles. And this is the fatigue inning for Ken Dixon. Although he doesn't look like he's anywhere near being tired. It is officially his fatigue inning. 2-4. That's a fly to center. And Tigers, like I said, it just seem like they're sleepwalking through this game. Here's Chet Lemon. 6-4, and that's a catcher X. That is Van Gorder. He's a 3-E-8. 3-7, but nobody's on base, so you don't have to worry about a wild pitch or anything. Pass ball. 3-7 is simply a pop out, and that's an 8, and he is an E8. So an 8 and an 8. There is no 8 there, so it's just a pop out to Van Gorder. And that's 2 up, 2 down for Tom Brookins, who did single his first time up. 4-7, he will single again. So Brookins out of the number 9 spot is 2 for 2. 2-out single for Brookins brings up Whitaker. Brookins couldn't get the lead to steal last time. They're down 5-0. You know what? They're going to try to get in scoring position with 2 outs. So he's going to try a 6 or a 6 or a 7. He got the lead. He's going to go 15 being held to 13 plus 4 is a 17. 1-17. And he's in there. Stolen base for Brookins. So Brookins steals the base. Let's see how he's done on his stolen bases for the season and on the replay. So the Tigers not letting the scoreboard deter their aggressiveness. Maybe sometimes being aggressive will get them out of the funk that they're in. Brookins on the real season stole 7 bases, got caught 4 times. On our replay, he's stolen, this is now his 4th steal. He's been caught once. So Brookins was stolen base number 4 on the replay. He had 7 of them real world. And now this turns Lou Whitaker's at bat into a clutch situation, which could be bad because he loses 4 hits there. He loses a single on 210, 3-2, 3-9, and 3-10. So could backfire on him if it hits those clutch at bats. 5-6 though is not a clutch at bat, but it will be an RBI at bat. That's an 8. That'll be a single, but it's 2 stars, and by stealing second base, that allows Brookins to score. And the Tigers are on the board. RBI single from Lou Whitaker. All this with 2 outs and nobody on. But by being aggressive, They get the run, and now Whitaker's going to try for the lead. Needs a 4 or a 5. Does not get it. He'll hold, and here's Darrell Evans. That's a 5-4. That is a fly ball to left, and that will end the inning. The Tigers finally get on the board. Single by Brookins, a stolen base, and then a single from Lou Whitaker gives the Tigers their first run. But that's all they can muster. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 5-1, favor the Orioles. And Dixon gave up 2 hits, but he still got some endurance left for the 6th, so he'll come out and pitch the 6th as well. Here's Alan Wiggins, 4-11, switch hitter, fly ball left field X. We're looking at Gibson, 3E10 for Gibson. 3E10 for Gibson. 3-18 for Gibson. 3-18. Should be no problem, I would think. 3-18 is an F3. That is a 9, and Gibson is an E10. E10, there's no 9 there, so Gibson does make the play, and Alan Wiggins is out of there. 1 away. Here's Cal Ripken. Homered his last time up, a 2-run home run. 3-9, and this time he's going to draw yet another walk from Petry. That is 6 walks for Petry. He's just been off the whole game. And now Eric King is loosening in the bullpen for the Tigers. Sparky may not want to go too much longer with Mr. Petry. Here's Murray. 1-5 for Murray. That's a home run, 1-16, and that's going to be the coup de grace right there on Dan Petry. Home run, his 3rd home run he's allowed this game. Every home run has been preceded by a walk. The 3-run homer by Young was preceded by a hit by pitch and a walk. The home run from Ripken was preceded by a walk by Wiggins. And now this home run by Murray is preceded by the Ripken walk. Look at it again. 1-5 is a home run, 1-16. That's a 15. Eddie Murray, home run, and that's going to be it. Sparky can't get off the dugout steps fast enough to make the move. Murray, 17th home run of the replay. He had 30 real world. RBI's 40 and 41. Orioles now lead at 7-1, and that's going to be it for Mr. Petry. And Eric King is going to be tasked to pretty much finish out the game, mop up and save the bullpen. So Eric King is on. He is a -1 hold, which makes him a 0. But with the score being 7-1, that probably is not going to factor in too much. So we'll go to the bullpen. And for whatever reason, the Strat computer is not telling me Petry is tired. You would think he would be giving up 7 runs, but Sparky's tired of seeing him out there, so we will be going to the bullpen for Eric King. So we'll get the numbers on Petry. They were not pretty, but we want to finish up his pitching line before we move on. Petry, 4 1/3 innings, gives up 4 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 6 walks, 3 strikeouts, and every home run, 3 home runs, every home run was preceded by a walk. So not necessarily the home runs that got him in trouble, it was the walks that got him in trouble. In the real season, Eric King 6-9 with an ERA of 4.89, and he did register 9 saves. On the replay, he's 2-2 with a 2.50 ERA and 4 saves. 58 innings pitched, 49 hits, 20 walks, and 42 strikeouts. So Eric King is on, and he's there just to eat some innings. Here's Sheets. 3-6 for Sheets. That's a fly to right, and that is out number 2. Two down, and that brings up Ray Knight. He has been hit by a pitch and walked. 5-6. This time he will strike out as King gets him. But the 2-run home run off the bat of Eddie Murray makes it now a 7-1 ball game. And Sparky kind of shaking his head like wondering what happened to his team today, because they just didn't show up, plain and simple. So Dixon on the verge of fatigue, but he's got a 6-run lead to work with, so Cal Ripken Sr. will leave him in a little longer. Facing Gibson, who he has retired. He's 0 for 2. 4-6. No, he's not 0 for 2 anymore. That's going to be a double for Kirk Gibson to lead off the top of the 6th. So we could be seeing some bullpen action for the Orioles. So we'll look at their bullpen and see who they've got the most rest for. That bullpen, like I said, they can't use McGregor because he went 3 innings yesterday. So McGregor's unavailable. They do have some other guys, though. They got 4 guys. They got Mark Williamson, Luis De Leon, Tony Arnold, and Tom Nienfuhr. They're all available. All righties out of the bullpen. They're all available. So we'll see if they want to maybe go to Tony Arnold might be loosening the bullpen. In fact, he is. Tony Arnold is loosening the bullpen just in case Ken Dixon runs into further trouble. Here's Alan Trammell. 6'4", and that's a catcher X. This time there's runners on base, so this could hurt Van Gorder. He could give a pass ball or whatnot. 3 E8, 3 and a 2. That might even be a base hit. Might be an infield single. 3 and a 2 for a catcher. No, it's actually a W/G, but that's going to be a wild pitch. That's a 7, and he is an E8, so I don't think there's any problem there. There's not. But W/G, with no runners on base, uncorks a wild pitch. So he's unable to stop the wild pitch from Ken Dixon. And that will move Gibson to third base. And, of course, with the 7-1 lead, the Orioles will keep the infield back. They need to get an out. They don't mind giving up 1 run to get the out. 1-7 for Trammell. Didn't matter where they were playing now because that's going to be a base hit for Alan Trammell. Makes it now a 7-2 ball game on the single by Trammell. Ken Dixon is now officially tired. And there's got 3 lefties coming up, but there are no lefties in the bullpen because McGregor was already used for 3 innings yesterday. He is their only lefty, so no lefties to go to. They're going to stick with Gibson for 1 more batter, see if he can get out of this or at least make some progress. 4-10. And that's going to be a fly ball center field. That's out number 1. Actually, I didn't even check to see Trammell can actually try to get a lead here. Needs a 5. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. So 1 away. Runner at first in Trammell. And here's Pat Sheridan. 1-9 for Sheridan. That's a walk. And for Dixon, that is only his 2nd walk of the game. But I think Johnny Grubb's going to be the last guy he gets to face, most likely, before Cal Ripken Sr. makes the move to the pen. 4-7, and that's going to be a 1-3 triple. Anything else he flies to right. And that's a 1. The double die is a 1. Johnny Grubb had no triples, so we're going to modify him to a double instead of a triple. He'll be modified to a double, but I'm going to make both runners automatically score as if it was a triple. And that's going to be it for Ken Dixon. He is done. But my house rule is if a guy never hit a triple real world, I'm not going to let him get a triple in the replay off the pitcher card. So a double, RBI double, 2-run double actually from Johnny Grubb. And all of a sudden it's a 7-4 game, and the Tigers are back in it. They're showing some life, and the Orioles will go to the pen. Maybe they stuck with Dixon too long. They'll go into the pen for Tony Arnold. So we'll get the numbers on Arnold. Can't close the book on Dixon yet. He is responsible for Grubb. So we have to wait and see what happens with that. Again, he's a 0 hold, which means Van Gorder is a +4, which makes him the +4. So let's look at Arnold on the real season and on the replay as I bring him in on the computer. Tony Arnold is about the most rested pitcher the Orioles have. So on the real season, he was 0-0 with a 5.77 ERA and no saves. On the replay, he is 0-4 with an 8.68 ERA, 19 innings pitched, 32 hits, 4 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So, boy, rough outing here, a rough way to bring Tony Arnold into the game, but that's what they're doing here against Chet Lemon. It's a 5-6, and that's a 1-11 double. Anything else is a single. Single 2 stars, that'll score grub. And now he can close the book on Dixon. He's going to give up 5 runs. So he had a really good outing through 5, but then probably left him in a little bit too long in the 6th, and it caught up with him. So it's now 7-5. And here comes Tom Brookins. Lemon not being held. He never had a stolen base attempt in the regular season. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, possible double play. Ripken's a 2-20. 2 and a 1. Oh, look at that. Double die is a 1 again. Do you believe that? That's twice that's happened. A double die is a 1. So that's going to be a base hit. It will not even be an out at all. It'll be a double. No double play to even think about it. It's actually a base hit. And on a 1, I'm sorry, on a, he is a 2. On a 2 and a 1, it's a single 1 star. So that will move Lemon second base. We'll check for the error. That's an 11. He is an E20. There is no 11 there, so no error, but because the double die is a 1, it snuck through for a base hit. And now all of a sudden the Tigers have the tying runs on base. And there's still only 1 out for Lou Whitaker, who's 2 for 3 in the game. Seven to 5. Here's Whitaker. 1-6 for Whitaker, and that's a fly ball to center. That's out number 2. And now Evans, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Evans will step up. He's 0 for 3. It is a clutch situation for Evans, where he does gain a couple of hits, 1-6 and 1-10. Arnold trying to get out of it. 1-9, and that's going to be a base on balls. It's going to load the bases, and now the Tigers will bat around. As the man who led off the inning will come back and bat again. Gibson led off the inning with a double. He's going to bat again, bases loaded, and potential spam coming in. Don't you just love that? I like, though, how my phone says potential spam, so that works out. I can just ignore it. All right. So Evans reaches, and here comes Kirk Gibson. He doubles to start the inning. Got everything started with what seemed like an innocent double, but anything but innocent. In the clutch for Gibson, he will lose a hit on that 212. Everything else is neutral. Arnold to Gibson. 3-10, struck him out, and Arnold finally gets out of the inning. So we'll wrap up the results on Dixon before we start the bottom of the 6th, but it's an Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for the Tigers, and they have cut into this lead. All of a sudden, it's a ball game again. It's 7-5. And now we'll go to the box score on the Strat computer and get the final details on Ken Dixon, who was pitching so well until you hit a brick wall in the 6th inning. He goes 5 1/3, 7 hits and 5 runs, and this is kind of the offensive outburst I was thinking was going to happen from the get-go. 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. All right, but he can still qualify for the win. If the Orioles don't ever lose the lead, he would still get the win, and Petry would take the loss. So we'll see what happens. Still 3+ innings to go. Here's Lee Lacy. Lacy will lead things off. He'll be followed by Young and Van Gorder, the bottom of the order for the Orioles. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. So King trying to keep the Tigers close. Here's Mike Young. He's homered and fly to right. 3-8, and that's another strikeout. So, boy, King is coming out firing. Maybe pepped up by the run support. Here's Van Gorder. He's 2 for 2, but that was off of Petry. 1-8 on his own card. He will strike out. So King comes in and strikes out the side. And we go to the 7th inning. It is the Orioles 7, but now the Tigers 5. And now we'll see if Arnold will stay in the game. Going to be facing Trammell, Noakes, and Sheridan. Again, they don't have any lefties on the bench to go to. They do have Mark Williamson loosening in the bullpen in case they need some relief for Mr. Arnold. We will find out very shortly. Start at the top of the 7th. Here's Trammell. 5-5, and that is a straight-out double off of Tony Arnold. And now Williamson warming up quicker than usual. Here's Matt Noakes. He's 0 for 3. 6-6. Not 0 for 3 anymore. That's a straight-out triple. Let's see if Noakes had a triple. He did have 2 triples. So we will allow the triple. It's a straight-out triple. It's pretty bad when a pitcher has a straight-out triple on his card with no split. That's pretty bad. So that's going to be it for Tony Arnold. He is done. RBI triple. All of a sudden it's 7-6, and the tying run is 90 feet away with nobody out. And Arnold is long gone now. And Mark Williamson will be coming in for the Orioles. That's why the Orioles are 25 and 43. No lead is safe with them in their bullpen. So Williamson will check out his numbers real world versus replay. Infield for the Orioles will now come in. Williamson on the replay. Well, actually, real world was 8-9 with a 4.03 ERA and 3 saves. On the replay, he's 3-3 with a 3.26 ERA and 4 saves. 58 innings pitched, 52 hits, 11 walks, 33 strikeouts. It's been one of their better relief pitchers. So, and he's got the fatigue to go 3 innings if he has to. But we'll see. Infield is in for Pat Sheridan because the tying runs 90 feet away. That's a 4-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Cal Ripken. 2E20 for Ripken. 2-9. I don't think playing in will hurt him on that one. 2-9. Now it's a G2 on the 2 and the 9 is a G2. That's a 10. E20, there's no 10 there, but let's check G2 with the infield in. So G2, where are you? There you are down here. G2, runner on third, infield in. It says leader. Leader. So that means, according to this, batter's safe and the lead runner is thrown out. So Ripken throws out. Noakes trying to score. 6-2, it's going to go on a fielder's choice. So in that situation, Tigers didn't have, unless you homebrew something, they don't have the ability to hold the runner there and make it go through with nobody out. Instead, it is a fielder's choice. 6-2. And now Sheridan is at first with 1 out for Johnny Grubb. That's a 2, balk or pass ball. Look at the pass ball rating on Van Gorder. His pass ball rating is an 8. So Van Gorder will allow a pass ball, and that will get the runner to second base in the scoring position. Grubb now 1 for 2 with a double and a walk and a run scored. 2-2, and that's a Lomax with injury. Wow, what a bad break for the Tigers there. 2-2 is a Lomax plus injury. So he's going to line it to second base. Wiggins will get it, step on the bag because he made a running catch, and they double off Sheridan from second base. It was a 4-4 unassisted double play. And then we'll check Grubb for injury. Grubb's DH, so you can bring in anybody you want pretty much to take over there. but really a bad break for the Tigers. They get a run to cut it to 7-6. But before we head into the 7th inning stretch, we need to check Grubb and see if he can continue. So we go over here, and my rule is if it's a 1-6, he stays in the game. 7 or higher, he's got to come out. So he's got to come out. Yeah, all injuries are just game injuries only, so he's available because I am playing as-played lineup, so he will be available going forward, just not the rest of this game. So the Tigers will need a new DH, and we'll figure out who they want to bring in. They could bring in Madlock. That would seem to be the usual choice, or decent choice. So they're going to bring in Bill Madlock to take over at DH for Grubb due to the injury. So Madlock will be the DH starting in the 8th inning. Bill Madlock. As Grubb lined it and then felt a twinge and had to come out. So we are at the 7th inning stretch, and we can close the book on Arnold as well. Go to the computer, get the numbers on Arnold. They were not good ones. He gave up a lot of inherited runners. Nothing really counted against him that much. He only gave up 1 run, but he allowed some inherited runners to score. He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, a run, a walk, and a strikeout. So 7th inning stretch time here at Memorial Stadium. And I do need to go refresh my coffee, so we will have a 7th inning stretch break. Plus, the game's been going on a while. I need to stand up and stretch myself. Heck, when you're getting older like that, you got to do that. But that's just the way it is sometimes. But while we're away for that, we will have Take Me Out to the Ball Game while I go refresh my coffee and we get ready to finish up the last few innings of this ball game. 7-6 favor the Orioles, but boy, they led 7-1 at one point and let this one get away, if you want to call it that. So while I go heat my coffee, you guys can enjoy Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All right, we are ready to continue. So, due up is Ken Gerhardt. Wiggins and Ripken, top of the order. Orioles had a comfortable 7-1 lead, but that has almost totally evaporated. Eric King, all he's done is strike out 4 of the 5 guys he's faced in relief. So he has certainly done the job. Here's Gerhardt, 1-8, and that's a 1-2 single, but that's a 1. Double die shows up again. I'm telling you, the 1 shows up more than 5%. I don't care what anybody says. That 1 shows up at least 10% of the time. It's not, there's something weighted with that 1 showing up all the time. It's a leadoff single for Gerhardt. He's got a 4 or a 6 to get the lead. Doesn't get the lead, he'll hold. And that'll send up Wiggins. And Wiggins, one thing he can do is bunt. He can bunt and run. So we're not going to have a hit and run. We're going to have a bunt and run here. He's an A bunter. So let's see who's going to field this thing. It's a B bunter because the corners are obviously expecting it. So the 4 says it's going to be the first baseman, in this case Darrell Evans, will come in and field it. B bunter, so he needs basically a 9 or less. And he gets the 9 around the number. It's a good sacrifice. So sacrifice hit. Evans will flip to Whitaker covering first base, 3-4. You're scoring at home. You know you should be. So Wiggins does the job, makes a productive out. And now sets it up for Ripken and Murray, each of which have homered in this game. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at the pass ball rating of Noakes, and I forgot to write that in too. So let me go to the computer and type that in real quick. Noakes' pass ball rating is a 3. So 1 to 3, we have a pass ball. And we do. Okay, again, the 1 shows up again. I'm keep telling you, that shows up more than 5%. I don't care what anybody says. You can't prove to me otherwise that it doesn't. But I think I have enough proof to say that it does. So it is a pass ball on Mr. Noakes. And that's going to force the infield to come in. Runner at third, 1 out for Ripken. Infield is in. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. That's a 3-5, and that is a ground ball shortstop A. That's going to freeze the runner. B's, the runner's out at home. But on the A, unless there's force, they hold. So Ripken grounds it out to Trammell, but staying at third base is going to be Gerhardt. So now it's up to Eddie Murray in a clutch situation. 2 outs and a runner at third. Murray in the clutch loses a hit on 1-3. Everywhere else he is neutral. Eddie Murray. Already homered in this game. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Trammell's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. We're just worried about the E21. And the only errors he can make, only numbers that cause an error are 6, 15, and 17. He's got to avoid those 3 numbers. And he does with an 11. So good play by Trammell, and King pitches out of the mess. Go the 8th. 7-6 still the score. And due up for the Tigers, it'll be Lemon, Brookins, and Whitaker. Those are the scheduled hitters. So we'll see if they want to do any pinch hitting. Well, Brookins is 3 for 3, so you're not going to pinch hit for him. And they kind of don't want to pinch hit for Lemon either. He's a pretty good defender in center field. And he did get a single his last at bat. So let me see if let me make sure the cards aren't going. It looks like they're going off the page a little bit, so I'll back this sucker up just a tad. How about that? There we go. Hopefully now that still shows everything. All right, so Chet Lemon against Mark Williamson. Top of the 8th, 7-6. 4-10, and that's a fly ball center field X Gerhardt, 3E10 for Gerhardt. 3 and an 8. See if he gets to that. 3 and an 8 is an F1. That's good enough to get to it. That's a 10, and he's an E10. Center field, there is no 10, so it's good play for Gerhardt. And Lemon is out of there, one away. Dan, it doesn't matter. I changed D20s out. I make them a blue one, a white one, a green one. It seems like the ones just, just show up more than 5% is all I'll say about it. Here's Brookins, but I think my sample size of proof is enough to show that it's more than 5%. Here's Brookins, 2-4, and that's a line out to third base. So Ray Knight snags it, 2 down. So Williamson has come in and given some stability to the bullpen. Here's Whitaker, he's 2 for 4. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. That's Wiggins, 4E15 for Wiggins. 4 and a 10. I think you'll still get to that. Check for the error. 4 and a 10 is a G 3-pound, but nobody's on base, so that's irrelevant. That's an 11, and he is an E15 at second base. There is no 11, so Wiggins will make the play. And Williamson, a 1-2-3, 8th inning. And he will be looking to register a save in the 9th, unless they want to bring in Niedenfuhr, which is possible, although probably not advisable. Here's Eric King. He'll be facing Sheets, Knight, and Lacey for the Orioles. Hello, Dr. D. The bottom of the 8th we go. Orioles once led 7-1. They now lead 7-6. And here's Sheets. 4-6, and that's a strikeout for King. He's not tired. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. That's his 5th strikeout for King. King has pitched now 3 innings. 2 outs there, 1 out here, and 2 complete innings there. So, but he has only given up a single. That's the only thing he's given up in those 3 innings. Here's Ray Knight. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Whitaker, 2E20. 2-19 is good all day long. E20 and 11. He's got to avoid 3, 13, 18, and 17, which he certainly did. So it's good play for Whitaker. 2 up and 2 down. So Eric King has done everything that Sparky Anderson could have possibly asked of him to do, as he has kept the Orioles in check and allowed his team to come back. Here's Lacey. 5-3, and that's going to be a fly ball right field X. Right fielder is Sheridan. He's a 2E9 for Sheridan. 2E9, and that's a 6. 2 and a 6 for an outfielder. Make sure he gets to that. He does. 2 and a 6 is an F2. That's a 14, and Sheridan is an E9. There is no 14 there, so it's good play. Another 3 up, 3 down inning. And we go to, I remember him, Mr. Dan. I remember him slapping John Stossel in the ear way back in the day. All right, so I'm going to turn this over to a vote for you guys. Should I continue with Mark Williamson, or should I bring in the erstwhile closer Tom Niedenfuhr to pitch the 9th inning for the Orioles? That is the question. Williamson, in relief, has pitched an inning and 2/3. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He's pitched 2 innings. He can go up to 3 according to his chart, but he's pitched 2 innings total. So do we go with Williamson, who is 4.03 ERA, or do we go to the closer Niedenfuhr, even though he's got a 4.99 ERA, and probably Ripken Sr. would go to Niedenfuhr, but what do you guys think? Dr. D says go to Niedenfuhr, the closer. I think that's what Cal Ripken Sr. would do as well, although Niedenfuhr is not my idea of a automatic closer by any means. Just ask Jack Clark and Ozzie Smith. So Williamson's going to go 2 innings, and he's not going to give up anything. No walks, no strikeouts, no nothing. And Tom Niedenfuer it is. He will be coming on to face Evans, Gibson, and Trammell, heart of the order. So it's a grown man save right here, if he can get it. Got to go through the heart of the order. Let's get the numbers on Niedenfuer. Orioles picked him up about a month ago or so from the Dodgers in the John Shelby trade. So real world with Baltimore, he was 3-5 with a 4.99 ERA and 13 saves. On the replays, 1-2 with 3 saves, but an ERA of 6.91. 14 innings pitched, 23 hits, 5 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So let's see if Niedenfuer, in fact, I'm going to bring him over here. Let's see if Niedenfuer can get the job done. He's going to be facing Evans, Gibson, and Trammell are the 3 scheduled hitters for the Tigers. Niedenfuer, as far as holding runners, is a +2. That makes him a +5. Unless they want to bring in Kennedy. You know what? Orioles are they're gonna make some defensive changes because they just can't trust that Van Gorder defense out there. So we're gonna give Kennedy the day off, and he had the day off for most of the game, but he's gonna come in and catch the 9th. I don't think he'll cry about that. So Kennedy will come in and catch the 9th. They will also bring in Rene Gonzalez to play second base in place of Wiggins. So Kennedy, he is a 0 arm, so that means it's only a +2 for the hold. But Kennedy will catch in the 9th, which means he would bat second if it goes to the bottom of the 9th, and that's it for Van Gorder. And then Gonzalez will take over for Wiggins. Wiggins 4E15 at second. Gonzalez 3E32, so not quite as good a range, but better defense as far as fielding goes, error rating. So it will be Rene Gonzalez playing second base in the 9th inning. So Rene Gonzalez. And of course Kennedy there. So Niedenfuer. So we have a whole new battery coming into the game. Niedenfuer will be pitching to Terry Kennedy. And we're ready for the top of the 9th. Again, it'll be, so let's make the changes in the computer. I got to do that before I forget. Or else it'll look awful funny trying to do the replay and have these stats out of line. So Gonzalez in at second base. Kennedy doing the catching. And actually, do they bring in Lynn? They might bring in Lynn to play center. Yeah, they're going to move Gerhardt to left field because Sheets is not a very good left fielder. So Lynn will come in Sheets' spot and play center field. And they will move Gerhardt from center field to left field, where he improves from a 3 range to a 2 range. So he's now going to be a 2E10 as a left fielder. And coming in here is Fred Lynn in center. So Lynn take over in center field tonight. So 3 defensive changes for the Orioles. So they don't want to blame it on their bad defense. They're going to bring out the best defensive solution they have. And that's what they're going with. So if they blow it now, they blow it. So here you go. Tom Niedenfuer facing Darrell Evans to start things off the top of the 9th, 7-6. 5-8. And that's a ballpark blast right off the bat, but it's 11, and he got a break at the 13. So Niedenfuer catches a huge break there. That could have been a tie ball game, but the D20 cooperated with something higher than an 11, and that kept it from being a tie game. Evans just got up under it, but Lee Lacy makes the catch at the warning track, 1 away for Kirk Gibson. 3-10 for Gibson, struck him out. Niedenfuer, that's a hat trick for Gibson. He has 3 strikeouts on the day. And now it's all up to the league's leading hitter, Alan Trammell. He is the last chance. He is 2 for 4, single and a double. Couple of runs scored, run batted in. He has the pop. He could certainly tie this game with 1 swing of the bat, no question about it. 4-9. That's a walk. So Nienfuhr a little bit too careful with Trammell. Issues the walk. And now Trammell has a chance to get a lead and get in scoring position. Needs a 5 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, he'll hold. And now it's up to Matt Noakes. Catcher, he tripled his last time up, did Noakes. It is not a clutch situation because Trammell's still at first base. So here is Noakes. 3-7 for Noakes, struck him out, and Tom Nienfuhr saves it for the Orioles. He had Cal Ripken Sr. maybe doing some heart palpitations after that walk, but he comes through, strikes out 2, and earns the save. So the peanut gallery watching that was being asked to be manager for an inning came through with the right choice. I certainly thought about keeping Williamson there, but I brought Nienfuhr in with trepidation because I know how he's been doing. But he comes through with the save, and Ken Dixon comes through with the win. Taking the tough loss is Dan Petry. So we look at the numbers on King. He pitched incredibly well. He will not be available in the next game for the Tigers. He goes 3 2/3. Gives up a hit, but no runs. No walks and 5 strikeouts. A polar opposite of Dan Petry. Let's see. The winner is Ken Dixon. He evens his record at 3-3. Petry drops to 5-3. Nienfuhr with save number 4. For Nienfuhr, his 4th save. Final line score, 7 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for Baltimore. 6 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for Detroit. Detroit now drops back into a third-place tie with the Yankees at 7.5 games back of Milwaukee in the American League East. Player of the game, not sure who you want to give the player of the game to. Williamson did pitch 2 innings of fine relief and got him out of that jam. So he's certainly a possibility. He also had 3 home runs in the game. So there's all kinds of possibilities you can go to give the player of the game to. Almost could give it to Eric King in a losing cause because he kept the game close. But you can make your own choice there. Let's go to the standings. Up to the second now with this game input. Tigers are now 37-28. They're in a virtual tie with the Yankees, although they are percentage points ahead of them. 37-28. Yankees are 39-30. They're both 7.5 games back of first place Milwaukee. And speaking of first place Milwaukee, the game tomorrow will be north of the border in Toronto. Exhibition Stadium. It's the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Milwaukee going for the sweep. They started that weekend series 1 game in the lead. Now they're 3 games up. So they're going for the sweep to try to finish it out. In fact, let me do a preview here and get the I'm thinking, I can't remember if it's a 3-game series or a 4-game series. The Strat computer will give me the whole detail. If I go to the pregame stuff on the computer, it'll tell me. Game notes or whatever you want to call it. All right, so yeah, this is a 4-game series. Toronto won game 1 behind Dave Stieb, but then Milwaukee behind Higuera and Wegman have won the last 2 games. They threw the first loss on Jimmy Key in the previous game. Not a stellar pitching matchup again. Chuck Krim 1-2 with a 2.68 ERA against Joe Johnson for the Blue Jays, 1-6 with a 5.89 ERA. Those ERAs are and numbers are replay numbers, not whole numbers. But that's what we have for tomorrow from Toronto. Toronto must win or they fall 4 games in back of the Brewers, and they're in danger of Brewers running away with the division. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced. And we will move on to Toronto starting tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we will be heading from Toronto. Again, as we try to move east to west as much as possible, geographically speaking, that is. We'll be moving to Minnesota, where it'll be the Chicago White Sox taking on the Twins. That's Thursday game. Floyd Bannister against Frank Viola. And then on Friday, we are looking at California and Kansas City. Bob Stoddard against Jerry Royce. Not exactly a stellar matchup there either, but that's what we have on tap. The games offline will be Seattle at Cleveland and a doubleheader between Texas and Oakland. I'll play all those offline. I might jump in and play one of them over the weekend. I don't know, but most likely, I'm going to say jump in and play. I'm talking about for video purposes. If not, then we'll just play them offline and get ready for Monday, where there'll be another scam call or spam call coming in. But on Monday the 22nd, new opponents, as these teams are probably tired of playing each other after a while. I'm sure Toronto's tired of seeing Milwaukee right now. So starting Monday, we'll have new opponents, and there's some teams are off because there's only 6. Well, no, it's supposed to be 6 games. So anyway, Orioles hang on and win it, have a 7-1 lead, almost blow it. But I guess give it to Williamson. He came in with nobody out and the tying run at third base in the top of the 7th. He induced he got a fielder's choice to get the runner out at the plate and then got a Lomax double play. So I think probably Williamson gets the player of the game if I had to give it to somebody for the Orioles, because he kept them in the lead without giving up the lead, which easily could have happened. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all are having a great Tuesday, whatever you have planned for yourself. Enjoy the hobby. Enjoy the others that are out there putting out creative content. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.